Hi everyone, I'm Lisa.
Jafar, Kree. Sorry,
Oh
I'm Nick.
And you're listening to It Takes Two, the podcast where two people take two movies with the same plot or premise and watch and discuss them.
And in this episode, we're covering off Atlantis and Stargate. And I completely forgot to look at what years these movies are from. Atlantis is from 2001 and Stargate is from 94.
There you go. I was going to guess 96.
Yeah.
I wasn't far off. What language did you just speak?
I don't know. I made up one for the TV show.
Oh my gosh.
Stargate SG-1.
They didn't speak that in the movie.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil both these movies because we can't talk about the similarities without spoiling them. But basically...
Spoiler alert, I've consumed a lot of Stargate material.
Yeah, I have not. This is my first foray into Stargate. But basically, they're both movies kind of focused on a
linguist
slash archaeologist slash expert in dead or ancient languages.
Who's completely against the standard, definition.
Yeah, who has some theories that people make a mockery of him for, and he's nerdy and awkward and has kind of shaggy blonde hair and glasses and wears a green jacket, and he ends up encountering the ancient civilization that he's been studying, and going there with some military forces, including a colonel who has some ulterior motives, and then he learns to communicate with the native people and
hooks up with a princess
and a woman. Oh, she's not a princess in Stargate, I don't think, but
close enough.
A woman from that place who communicates with him and helps him communicate also shows him a wall of writings in the language that he's an expert in, that he uses to determine how to access an energy source thing, and then so there's lots of fighting and some shit goes down, and he white saviors their civilization of brown people who don't know how to use their own technology, and then he stays behind with them when everyone else goes home.
In Stargate's defense, which is the original, and Atlantis is a copy of it.
I mean, you do have to admit these are both white savior movies.
Yeah.
Atlantis, I feel like, is particularly guilty of it.
So, in the defense of Stargate, the alien race, further known in the extended universe as the Goa'uld, kidnap ancient humans and then plant them throughout the world to be slave races for their galactic empire. So
throughout the universe, I assume, not throughout the world.
From individual races from Earth get taken. So there's but
you said they plant them throughout the world.
Sorry, yes.
As if they're just taking ancient Egyptians and putting them in other parts of present day Earth.
Yeah, you're right. So they're referred to as system lords.
Oh my god.
So they're lords over certain regions of space.
Okay.
And Ra was the leader. So spoilers, for blowing them up, they caused a massive power vacuum.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is they're both racist in different ways. Because listen, the theory that the pyramids were built by aliens is built upon the fact that people don't believe a civilization of brown people in the Middle East could have created these wonders of the world.
Correct.
Then this movie is you're right, they were all slaves to this alien.
Yeah. Well, not that alien, but that's, in the movie,
yes,
it's Ra.
In Atlantis, at the very least, this ancient civilization of non-white people did actually create all this stuff. But then they also had, gods, potentially.
Yeah.
But, presumably their civilization did actually create all this stuff. But then they lost the ability or the knowledge to use it and had to have a white guy come in and mansplain to them their own civilization. And that's the plot of Atlantis.
There's a lot of issues with Atlantis as well, because it's clearly shown that Milo's grandfather was one of those people who used to go and, like, steal shit.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy that he works with, who, like, funds the whole thing, has, like, to dip into the trivia for a second, one of the things that they do to really show his character is that he has a fish tank. I know I took this down. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, he's got an aquarium in his house that's got coelacanths in it.
Right.
So coelacanths are known as, like, the living fossil because they were thought to be extinct for a very, very long time until specimens were found in the 1930s.
Right.
This movie is set in 1914. So the implication is that this guy found an extinct species and was like, I'm going to keep that in my personal fish tank and tell no one about it. So 100% Milo's grandfather and Whitmore, who he's working with, are the people who are stealing stuff, but for personal collections, not even putting it in a museum.
Yeah. It's kind of the way that people did it.
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about Indiana Jones after we watched the movie.
Yeah.
Which was very funny to me because literally Indiana Jones, from his actions, like, causes what happened in World War II.
Yes. I mean, canonically in Indiana Jones, not in real life.
Yeah, he's not real.
But
fictional character.
It's in the same zone as these movies to some extent. And I mean, even, like, also you're saying, Milo's grandfather and and Whitmore, who he worked with, were these people who were stealing things for themselves. Literally, in Stargate, the thing is backed by an old lady who, as a child, was stealing from the Egyptians.
That's such a funny scene, because she makes it out like, I found this.
Yeah, she found it on a stall where someone was selling it, and she took it and walked off.
I don't think they were selling it. I think they were organising things.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, from all of those, how those things used to work is a lunatic who usually had money would be like, I'm a professor in this thing that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
And then he'd go to a bunch of, like, billionaires, or probably millionaires in that time, and be like, I need money to go dig a hole in this country, and whatever I find, we can display in your personal museum.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, jolly good. Here, have lots of money that I got from basically slavery. And they're like, cool. And then they dig up a bunch of stuff, steal it from the native peoples of that land, take it back to display it. Te Papa has a mummy, for an example. The National Museum of New Zealand has an Egyptian mummy. Yeah.
It's not on display. No. They don't want you to know about it.
Yeah, they don't want you to know about it.
This is a secret that we've just told you.
It's not a secret.
Either way, she's still like, some other person has collected this and cleaned it up and has it on this table with these other artifacts.
Because they're, like, going through it.
And she just walks up and takes it and pockets it, and then 90 years later or whatever is like, oh, I found this.
And it's a MacGuffin.
And
it's a MacGuffin too, because it's, like, part of the plot that she just yoinked as a child.
Yeah.
And it's solid gold. It's a solid gold necklace to
that she just stole.
sun god Ra.
She literally just stole it.
Yeah.
And then kept it for decades, and then was like, oh yeah,
It's my good luck charm, Daniel.
Stumbled across this somewhere in the desert.
My father found it. No, he didn't. Your father was just, like, rocking up on a truck and being like, what have you discovered for me, brown person number 6?
Yeah.
They look, doctor, all the things we've dug up. And he's like, I'm claiming them for my own. Yeah. How does it end up in the States is the interesting part.
Because she's British, is she?
Yeah, the Chaperai.
I don't know. She brings
or
it there.
Stargate.
Brings it to the States, I guess. I don't know why.
It's the...
Maybe that's where she was going to look for experts.
The teams are very similar as well, because the person who's, like, knows everything, has been in charge for years, his, like, entire life work, doesn't go along with the trip.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous. And you get a ragtag team. Like, in Atlantis, they're a little bit more comical. You get, like, the French explosive expert. You get a guy who's... Isn't he not French?
There's an Italian explosive expert. Okay. There's a French guy who's an expert in digging.
He's a dirt expert.
A dirt expert, okay.
But his name is Mole.
His name is Mole.
And he literally digs.
Yeah.
With his bare hands like some sort of wild animal.
Yeah.
You get the femme fatale, badass.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. And
she's so cool. Helga.
And then you've got your
They have the doctor, they have the cook, they have the communications person, they have the... I mean, at least my thought is that in Atlantis, even though obviously they're over-the-top caricatures as, like, cartoon characters, they all have, like, a very specific role, whereas in Stargate, they've got the linguist who they weren't even going to take with them for some reason, and then the colonel who's leading the thing, and then just random military guys.
So... Here's my fan theory.
Okay.
In the military, you tend to accumulate people who are good enough at their job, but aren't good enough to get promoted. They don't get trusted with more responsibility.
Right.
They're basically, you get a group of fuck-ups.
Okay.
And, like, during World War II, there was a lot of groups of these people... And they were just like, Cole, you're now like doing this basically suicide mission constantly, you know, for the good of the country. And that's what the team, like Jack O'Neill is being reactivated. So he's been basically tamed out of standing reserve because he's, like the first scene of him is like in his son's bedroom because his son... killed himself with a surface weapon.
By accident.
So he's like red flags through and through.
Yeah.
He is there on a suicide mission.
Oh yeah, 100%. They've picked a guy they know wants to die.
Yeah.
And said, hey, here's how you can do it with honor.
Yeah, so you don't go and send like the best of the best on a mission that the probably likelihood of them never coming back. You take people with like a security clearance at an appropriate level, and you send them on the suicide mission. So, like, all of the other guys, other than Daniel, Arthur, and Jack, who's, like, already, Colonel O'Neill, who's already, like, on the precipice, they're all fuck-ups, and you can see it from the beginning.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, let's beat up the nerdy kid, like, not help him. Like, he's the only way to get off this planet, and we're gonna, like, give him shit the entire time.
Yeah.
They are doing terrible security, so he just, like, wanders off by himself, and then, like, Colonel O'Neill turns back up and is like, where the hell is the one guy who can save us? And they're like, he wandered off. It's like, we're on another planet.
Yeah.
And he just, like, wanders up to some animal, gets dragged all the way to their mining camp, where they're mining Naklita, which is the stuff the Stargate's made out of, but they haven't named it yet. So they're just like, it's made from the same ore. It's like, how did you do that with like you don't have a tricorder. This isn't Star Trek. It has star in the name, but it's not Star Trek. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I can narrow down how many like atoms this material has without doing like any form of lab testing.
Also, he's just like, it takes him ages to work out the language thing. Even though when he finally works it out, it's very close to a dialect he already knew. He just didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, but that's...
Whereas...
Like, you take English back...
Yeah.
Like, to the point of Shakespeare, and he was making up new words we use every day. You go back further than that, and you wouldn't you'd have to, like, sit there and be like, what the hell are you saying to someone speaking English?
That's... Yes, but I am not a language expert.
True.
And if I was a language expert... I would be speaking Flemish, which is the closest to Old English.
That's true.
And I would be going, okay, this person speaks Old English, or some variant of Old English. Let's see if I can speak Flemish and understand them, and then how do we get from there?
Yeah, but you're also looking at the fact that they were speaking an ancient language that no one on Earth speaks.
Yes.
And then also had all that time to change, like, the way that English has.
Yeah.
So, and that's within a pocket. So, yes, it would take you some time.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, it's unrealistic in that, A, he has no basis at the beginning, And then suddenly he speaks to her and he's like, oh yeah, it was just like one letter off.
Who didn't say that?
No, but he basically does that because he says like this word and she pronounces it just slightly different, which means he should have picked up much sooner what they were doing. Or done like, back to Project Hail Mary, like in that he's speaking to a literal alien with an alien language and is still able to be like, okay, let's break down like, what do you call this thing? And then he never attempts to do that. Even like he gives them like a chocolate bar and then they're like, the guy says something and he's like, I don't know what that means. It's like, well, work out, like be like, maybe this is the basis for this is delicious, or, you know, work out some kind of grammar structure. You
start at delicious.
Oh, I mean, only because he gave him a chocolate bar. But like, he doesn't seem to have any basis for it. Whereas when you have Milo Thatch, I mean, obviously it's going to be unrealistic. It's a Disney movie. But, like, he starts trying to speak based on the written stuff that he's seen. And then she doesn't understand that. And then no, the point is that the Atlantean language was designed to be, like, a mother root that, like, predates, you know, the Indo-Eurasian language things. No, it literally, and they actually genuinely, because they got the same guy who invented Klingon to do it. That?
You don't see any issues with that?
What do you mean, that that their language predates Indo-Eurasian?
No, so the language is like the basis of all the other languages.
Why is that a problem?
You were talking about like the issue that I have with like the Ancient Aliens show, which states that brown people can never make things, so it must have been aliens. So you're doing it the other way with language.
I'm saying the language they speak is old enough that it's from the root language that if you look at a language tree, the vast majority of languages in Europe and kind of Western Asia, Europe and Western Asia, all those languages are coming from the same like root tree, and they're saying it's just one step further down that route, which means that it can connect and devolve into these other languages, which is something that linguistically makes sense. Now, if they were speaking Finnish or something from that tree, there's no way he was getting to it from what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. English isn't a language. It is 3 languages in a trench coat.
Yeah. English is very far down this branch, and it's connected to all these other ones. But, like, if she's speaking a root language that, like, evolved into Latin, which is where they go, which is the first thing, because she speaks a few languages, I think, that he doesn't speak, when she's kind of branching into, and then they land on Latin together.
How does that make any sense, though? Because if their whole like existence of Atlantis was supposed to have been sunk, how did they know what the modern languages stood? If their language is the root language, how did they know the other?
That doesn't make sense. He should have been able to get to her language through the roots,
right?
She should not necessarily, as not a linguistic expert, shouldn't really have gotten to there. But then again, she's also like 8,000 years old.
Yeah, that also makes no sense.
Well, how old is Ra?
No, he's an alien.
But he says that he's only survived because he's taken over a human body.
That's in the expanded canon.
No, we're talking about this movie. I don't care about your extended canon.
So they are a parasitic race. They possess bodies, and the reason they picked humans is because they're easy to repair. So the thing that he goes into, the sarcophagus, heals all his injuries. Yeah. And it literally brings like uninfected people back from dead.
Exactly. And in Atlantis, they have the crystal that does the same thing.
Yeah. It's the MacGuffin. The crystal's a MacGuffin. So it's
literally they're doing the same thing. Yeah. In these two movies.
One of them is a copy of the other one.
In terms of extending their life.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
No.
It goes both ways, because Atlantis, the Lost Empire, clearly rips off Stargate. Yeah. But then apparently Stargate Atlantis took a whole lot of plot lines from Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
Yeah, but it's on a different planet.
Yeah, but they literally make direct references to Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
Yeah.
So it's cyclical.
Yeah.
These things are connected.
Here's the two problems. Daniel Jackson and Colonel O'Neill aren't in that show.
I didn't say they were. But Milo Thatch and Colonel Rourke are very similar characters. Except that Colonel Jack O'Neill has much more redeemability than Rourke in Atlantis. Both of them obviously are going there with ulterior motives that they know about that they haven't told everyone else. But Rourke is just straight up evil, whereas Jack O'Neill, like we said, was just in such a bad place that he wanted to go on the suicide mission.
Yeah.
But he actually cares about people, so when they encounter all these slaves on the planet, he wants to actually help, especially the children.
Yeah.
He really gets pretty attached to the son of the kind of leader of the slaves.
Scar.
Yeah. And he definitely is redeemed by the end of the movie, which is not the case for Rourke.
Yep.
Who is awful.
Now, as I asked you earlier, do you want to watch the 3-hour-long
pilot
of SG-1?
I absolutely do not want to watch the pilot of SG-1.
Why not?
Why would I?
I watched a singular disc out of the... how many discs it is every day, and it took me 3 months to watch all 10 seasons.
Nope. No.
And there's 2 movies. You've already watched 1.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get into than Star Trek.
I don't want to get into either.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
Why not?
Because I don't. The movie was fine. I don't have any interest in pursuing it further.
So this was the second time I'd seen Atlantis.
Oh, yeah.
But the first time you'd watched Stargate.
Yeah, well, not the first time I tried to watch Stargate.
By tried, you mean we were first dating and it was like 11 o'clock at night when I put the movie on and you fell asleep.
You
were falling asleep.
I was like, I'm not...
Before they'd even gone through
I'm not watching this movie.
Stargate.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get to the Stargate. I don't think I'd even met... what's his name? Daniel.
I think we were still in the Egypt part.
Yeah, I don't think I saw Daniel at all.
Yeah.
So I was asleep before that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milo Thatch is absolutely... They just drew Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they didn't. Apparently they actually drew the linguistic expert that they hired to help them on with the plot of the movie. Because the animator was like, I don't know what a linguist looks like, and just drew that guy. So I guess maybe that's just what linguists look like. Maybe they just did a really good job casting James Spader as Daniel, that like they made him look like what linguists actually look like, and then this actual linguist just happened to look just like him.
Yeah. It's a very niche sort of job, and it's very funny that they end up being like, because they're not like the stock standard like go on an expedition kind of guy who would end up being the hero and saves the day.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is that, obviously it makes sense that in both cases they're studying this, like, ancient civilization, so they need someone who has, like, kind of an archaeological background, but also it can communicate and, is learning the language and can, like, translate things. But I think it also makes sense from a plot standpoint of, like, the guy who's an expert in languages is going to be the guy who... his priority is going to be actually bridging the communication barrier.
Yeah, but it's
more
also...
so than like doing whatever, pillaging they want to do or whatever it is.
Yeah, the army guys are more about the pillaging.
Yeah. I mean, in Atlantis, the whole rest of the crew is about the pillaging.
Yeah.
Because they're all there for a payday, but they are everyone except Rourke and Helga are redeemable and turn around and go like, no, we can't. We didn't sign up to actually harm real people.
Yeah, that's
not what we're here to do. Which again is kind of what the situation is in Stargate, where
they go to a planet and then they're like,
where they're like planning. O'Neill is planning to nuke the place, but then he's like, I didn't realize there was going to be like kids here.
Yeah. Sorry. Looking at, like, the notes. It's a very fun movie, I think.
Which one?
Stargate. And Atlantis definitely feels like an homage. Less, and like, because they've taken it, they haven't done the exact same thing. They're like, oh, that's cool. You know, they've rolled the dice and be like, cool, which ancient race that people have, like, conspiracy theories about, and they're like, you know, we've already done Egypt, pyramids were built by aliens, let's go. Oh, Atlantis, of course, like, you know. I do like the design of things that makes the world feel very over the top and animated, because it is set in a certain time period.
Yeah, it's like very steampunk.
Yeah, but the submarine is, like, over the top. The giant Leviathan, which is, like, the guardian of Atlantis, is also, like, super over the top and cool. Humongous to the point of I don't think it would physically work in real life.
No, I mean, most of the Atlantis have wouldn't. You can't just make, like, rocks fly.
Yeah, you can. It's called magnets.
They use a magic crystal to make the rock fly. And maybe it's radioactive.
Yeah, I was just literally going to say that. You know, it's just, I really like the design of the vehicles and stuff. Maybe not the giant mole machine, because that's not how those work. Because you can't just put, like, a tractor with a giant drill on the front of it and expect it to, like, bore through stuff. But I do like the fact that it is, like, basically treated as useless. And then he's like, oh, the engine in this is basically the same as the boiler that I look after, so I got this one, guys.
Yeah.
And the mechanic expert guru, who reminds me of a lot of Jules State's character from
Firefly.
From Firefly, was just like...
Predates Firefly, though.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, very much it's the, like, young, like, optimistic woman... kind of unassuming in overalls, that then you're like, oh, actually, she's genuinely an expert in this.
Yeah.
They probably both, I mean, I haven't seen this movie, so I could be pulling this out of my ass, but they probably are both somewhat inspired by Marissa Tomei's character in My Cousin Vinny. Because I've just seen, like, clips of that, and it's, you know, she's just, like, Italian-American woman, and they all are like, what do you know about cars? And then she knows, like, every single thing of it. She's just, like, basically, I mean, my read of it is that's an autistic person with a special interest, but it's very much that she knows, like, every single in and out of the engine and everything like that. And it's, I would say that role probably inspired both of those characters to some extent, because I think it's quite famous.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, almost a trope now. You're like, I've got no formal training, but I'm an expert because special interest.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's how, like, just people used to get doctorates in the thing that was their special interest.
Yeah, and I mean, and Audrey in Atlantis is, like, her dad is a mechanic and owns a mechanic shop. And he always wanted two sons. And ended up with her and her sister. And her sister is a boxing champ.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
It's very, like, Serena and Serena Williams did.
Right, King Richard.
Yeah. It's just like that, like, concept of, like, I was terrible at this thing. You're going to be the best in the world at it. What's the other sister? Why have I forgotten?
Venus and
Serena.
I was thinking about them earlier because I was watching something about Elisa Leo, who won the Olympic gold in figure skating.
Right.
And her dad had, like, something like 7 children, but, like, they were all anonymous egg donors and surrogates, so that he could raise these children himself.
How rich was he?
Very. He sank $1 million into her career before she was 12, I think, or something like that. So he got her skating at age 5 and got her into championships, whatever. And then she got into, like, she, like, won, I think did she win world championships or something? Anyway, she gave up on her own terms as a teenager, I think, and then decided to go find herself, went and, like, climbed Mount Everest and did all this other shit, and then was like, and then got into snowboarding or something, and then was like, oh, I kind of want to go back to skating, and then called up her old coaches and was like, I'm going to go back to skating. They were like, no one has ever taken like a career break from skating and gone back to it competitively. And she's like, I'm going to do it. And then she won world championships, and then she went to the Olympics and won gold. And she was like, I'm doing that on my own terms. But her dad clearly was like pushing that career. If you have your kid, if you've intentionally had a bunch of kids as a single dad with lots of money and then pushed $1 million into a career of a 5-year-old.
What were the other siblings?
I don't know. But like,
just like Dad's next one, Dad's next one, Dad's next one.
This is the one. Yeah. But that's the same with the Williams sisters, because they have other siblings.
Yeah.
But their dad was like, we're having, because they were IVF as far as I know, and it was like these from like birth. He was like, what sport can I get these into that they can be champions of? Which is, I just can't imagine doing that to a child.
People do it to their kids all the time, but it's usually like football and like stuff.
But, I mean, I just can't imagine. I know people do it all the time, but like clearly in both those cases, the parent is like,
it happened with
from birth, like this is what this child is going to be conditioned to do for the rest of their life.
Because we watched that Macaulay Culkin Last Meal thing, and his dad was like a complete and utter mess.
Yeah.
And he's the one that took it all for his other siblings, because he's like the oldest out of all of them.
No, he's not. I think they've got a couple of older siblings, but he's the oldest of the ones that act.
Yeah. Because he was talking about the fact that, like, if I take the abuse, no one else has to. Yeah,
and it was also that their dad was a failed actor and pushed the kids into acting, and then when Macaulay got successful, he got really abusive.
Yeah.
Presumably out of jealousy for his own child, which is ridiculous. The other example of that is Jeanette McCurdy. I read her book called I'm Glad My Mom Died. Which you can guess what that's about. But she also pushed into acting by her mom from a young age. I think pushed into modelling and acting.
Yeah.
And the bit of the book that got me really, really, really angry was, I think she was like 12 or 13 and started going through puberty. And her mom was like, well, we want you to be able to play young for as long as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to start counting calories.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Can you imagine saying that to your 12-year-old daughter?
The other one that was really bad is I can't remember the actor's name. I will find it in a second. So, it was a kid who grew up with his dad and his, like, mum, and he, from, like, the age of, like, nothing, he was trained to, like, bodybuild.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, I'm just spelling things incorrectly. Young Hercules, that's the movie he was in.
Oh.
I'm trying to find the kid's name. Wait, no, is this the one with... No, this is the one with bloody Ryan Gosling.
I was going to say his name was Ryan Gosling.
No. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a different movie. Maybe it was young Tarzan. He basically ended up playing like a someone who shouldn't be as jacked. Zan. I think it's Tarzan then. If it wasn't 99.
No, it's called Little Hercules.
Little Hercules, that's the one.
So it's not Young Hercules, Little Hercules.
Yeah.
His name is Richard Sandrak.
Yeah, so when he got taken off his dad, they took him out for food, and he was served pizza, and he didn't know how to eat it.
Right.
Because he'd never had, like, real food. He'd just been eating protein powder and, like, supplements his entire childhood life.
Oh, my God.
And, like, as much as, like, you don't put that much dedication into something if you're, like, honestly a morally terrible person.
Yeah.
But I feel like that stuff gets skewered. Yeah. You're like super jacked as a child. Like doctors are like, you shouldn't have this much muscle mass as a child. Like that's not biologically possible.
It's just horrible. Anyway, we've kind of gone on a tangent here. In the movie, Audrey is fine. She quite likes being a mechanic. And I don't think she was like pressured into it. I think it's like a throwaway joke line.
Yeah.
But yeah, in real life, don't plan your kids' lives out for them.
Well, no.
Oh no, but
you can plan your child's life out by giving them the best opportunities.
Yeah, no, but like, what I mean is like
you can't let it drift into abuse.
Yeah, but also if you before your child is born are like, this is what my child is going to do.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
That's insane.
Yeah,
you haven't even met the child yet. You don't know what they're doing. It's totally different. If you have a child and the child shows a really strong interest in something and you want to support that interest and be like, okay, let's do this. Or if you want to give them like, hey, here's different things you can learn. What do you want to learn? And like give them the opportunities to actually pick all these different things that they want to do or like learn these things and then develop from that.
You can also do it the way where you go, cool, these are the things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Like test them out with me and see if you're good at them or interested in them.
I had the opposite. Growing up, which was that I wanted to learn how to play piano, but my mother had been forced into learning to play piano and had a horrible experience with it. So she was like, no, you're not going to learn piano. And then I was really into singing, and I used to just sing all the time, and we had a neighbor who did singing lessons. So my mom, got the name of the teacher and signed me up for singing lessons. And a couple of years into singing lessons, my singing teacher was like, it would be much easier for Lisa to do sight singing if she could play the piano. And my mom was like, oh. And I didn't have a bad time learning piano. I had a really lovely piano teacher. But my mom had that trauma from her experience of being pushed into learning piano and, all of that. My mom is fantastic at piano, by the way. And she was a piano teacher for a while. So she's a qualified piano teacher. But, it absolutely, for her, has this, baggage attached to it that made her not want to push it onto... Yeah, I know she listens, but it made her not want to push it onto us, you know? So it's a weird... So it can go both ways, in terms of, these are this is what I want to do in my life and you must do it, versus this is the thing I hated, so I'm going to avoid you doing it.
Yep. Parenting is a crapshoot. Even with your
parents are humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're usually dicks. Have you met humans? Talking of humans on other planets. I thoroughly enjoy the Stargate universe.
Wow, I never would have guessed.
You never would have guessed from
all the box sets we have.
All the box sets, all these, all of
Stargate shows.
Atlantis on Blu-ray.
Atlantis, The Lost Empire, starring Milo Thatch.
No. Yeah, no.
I will say I once watched Atlantis with an old friend of mine who had not watched much Disney. And was trying to catch up, and I was like, well, people are going to show you, other people are going to show you the big movies. Let me show you, Atlantis and Treasure Planet and Brother Bear, the ones people...
Treasure Planet's fantastic.
Yeah, it is, but it's underrated. People don't... when people hear someone has never heard Disney, they're like, oh, you got to watch The Lion King. You got to watch,
As a huge fan of Disney movies...
Yeah.
We should watch Black Hole.
Yeah, we'll do that at some point.
Because it is my favourite. I don't know if we can do it on the podcast because I don't think there's anything as unhinged as that Disney movie. Okay.
But anyway, the person that I made watch Atlantis at that point watched it and then was like, this is what Stargate Atlantis is about. I was like, oh, I didn't realize. I was like, I knew it had Atlantis in the title, but I didn't know it was the same thing. So that was literally probably almost 20 years ago that someone else told me that it was... Stargate Atlantis was the same.
It was the second major role that Jason Momoa had.
Stargate Atlantis?
Yeah, because he's in Baywatch.
Does he play an Atlantean?
Sort of.
Oh, okay.
Not really, but sort of. So, and the colony of Atlantis was made by the ancients, and the ancients are the same ones who built the Stargate. And because the Goa'uld are parasitic races, that they just stole all their technology when the ancients.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Why?
I've set you off.
What? Oh
no. you
I'm
reciting
sorry.
all the lore of
Talking
Stargate
about,
Atlantis.
like, people liking special interests, and then when my special interest comes out, Lisa's all like, "Oh, sorry, audience who are listening to a podcast about two movies with the same plot or premise." There, how many episodes? What episode number is this?
125.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, okay. So the ancients originated in Atlantis, and they built the Stargate.
No, they built the Atlantis station. They also built the Universe, which is the ship that makes that's season 3, which got cancelled.
Then how do you know about it?
Because I watched it.
But you said it got cancelled.
Shows get cancelled after they've come out.
Okay.
They don't get deleted from the internet.
You said season 3 got cancelled, which means
not
that there
season
wasn't
3. The third show got cancelled. So there's 4 shows. So there's Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, the animated Stargate show, and
Stargate
and Stargate Universe. No, I for the life of me, I cannot remember what the hell the other one's called.
The animated one?
Yeah, it's something bananas. No, it's not Wormhole Extreme.
2 stars, 2 gate.
It's not 2 stars, 2 gate. That was the second movie.
Stargate 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's not that either.
I think I said. Did I say Star Trek instead of Stargate?
Yes, at one point you did.
Star Wars.
It was originally supposed to be a trilogy. I knew that. Where the hell Stargate spin-offs? What the hell is the other one?
Stargate Animatrix.
Infinity. Stargate Infinity.
Stargate Infinity.
Ran from 22 to 23.
Wait, so that literally only just came out?
Yeah. No, sorry. 2002 to 2003.
Oh, okay.
My brain changes this. I'm still stuck in the 20s. No, still stuck in the 2000s.
I was like, wow, I didn't know Stargate was releasing an animated series in 2023.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's over 20 years ago, is what you're telling me, actually.
Don't tell me that I'm old.
Anyway.
Anywho.
So, about these movies we watched, I don't remember when we last talked about them. It might have been like 40 minutes ago.
I don't remember.
Did you have anything else you wanted to compare about these movies?
Yeah, they're basically like literally Atlantis feels like an homage to Stargate, and then to the point where Stargate made an Atlantis show as an homage to that, because Stargate Atlantis started in 2004 and ended in 2009.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently genuinely there are direct references to Atlantis Lost Empire in Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah.
So, like, they knew what they were doing.
Because canonically it would have come out.
Canonically?
Yeah, because if Stargate Atlantis is started in 2000, let's just, like, hypothetically, it happens in 2004.
Oh, so, like, it's set in 2004?
I don't know when it's set to, because, like, it's hard to follow when time is. Because if the original movie is canon.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just continues on that. She's not 90, because it says present day.
Yeah.
But she's at least 10 or 12 in, like... 1928. So if it was present day, if it was 2026, that means she's 98 there.
2026?
Oh,
no,
sorry.
1996. 1994.
No, because in the movie it says present day.
Yes, but that was released in the 90s.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
They were not saying... No one said present day in the 90s to refer to 30 years in the future.
Yes, I'm saying that, like, she's not 98 in the thing. So therefore...
No, she would be 88.
Yeah, because she'd be 100 and... What would, if it was today?
Or she'd be 86.
If it was today.
No, if it was set in 1990... If it was set in 1994, she would have been 86.
Yeah. Okay. She's still alive into SG-1 as well.
Okay.
Which finished in 2007.
Alright, well then she would have been almost 100.
Yep. Yep.
No. Hang on. No, we got that wrong. Because she would have been 100 in...
Like 2010.
No, if we're saying in 2028 she was 10, then she would have been 100 in 2018.
Yeah.
So actually she's only like 76 in 94.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But
and then she's in her 80s in the SG-1.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes perfect sense.
And her husband.
She has a husband?
Yeah, he got sucked through the Stargate.
When?
Before they went to the planet in the movie.
But they didn't even know how to work the Stargate.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Oh, God.
The facility that was in was struck by lightning.
And it's just not mentioned at all in the movie.
Yeah, because they just thought he died.
It's a retcon.
Retcon.
It's a retcon.
Expanded
because
universe.
She at no point mentions in that movie, my husband got sucked through this thing, or that anyone got sucked through it. It's implied that they've never managed to turn it on before.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't you tell me about future retcons of this movie. I'm judging this movie based on what I actually saw. I would say one of the notes I took down about her in particular in the beginning was that she was very Elizabeth Swann coded.
Yeah.
The like little girl taking the thing and hiding it. I was like, that's literally the opening of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was thinking, what's her face from Titanic?
Yeah, well I literally had that thought that like at the beginning I was like, oh, Elizabeth Swann, and then when it cut to her like,
Yeah, when she's old.
60, 70 years in the future or whatever, I was like, oh, it's Rose from Titanic.
Recaling an entire boat full of sailors about the time she got railed in the back of a car.
Yeah. I don't know why she needed to tell them all that.
The scene where it cuts and they're all like super engaged, it reminds me of the scene from the famous leg crossing scene from
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that, except, your grandma's talking about it.
That's weird.
Yep. James Cameron. Love story, everybody.
Yep. Anyway.
Everyone dies. Mostly.
Yeah, I don't know that Atlantis, I'm mixing up which movies, but I don't know that Stargate was meant to be super white saviory, but Atlantis definitely did it.
Because it's more along the lines of like, hey, look, here's a bunch of stuff we can't explain. Here's all the links together, and like this is a problem in current period archaeology, which I could go into for ages about, because there's a difference between archaeology and Egyptology. Egyptology is the study of Egypt and Egypt exclusively, and if it doesn't fit within their timeline, it is ignored or destroyed or hidden.
Stupid.
And then you get archaeologists going in and being like, none of this stuff makes sense to what you're saying, and they're like, cool, get out of our country. You're now literally, you will be arrested and thrown in jail.
To the point that it has, like, the fact that it even has a different name to archaeology, it's like, okay. Egyptology is just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's utterly insane that there's a separate thing for Egypt.
Because it's about protecting their tourism.
Yeah.
Because, what else does Egypt have?
I will say that I like Atlantis. And when I was watching it, like, with the angle of doing this podcast, I did really like the kind of, it's almost like Tolkien-esque, that it's this, there's these signs that it was this huge technologically advanced civilization, and even though it's the same, but that's the only thing that doesn't make sense, is that it is the same people, but even though it's the same people and they've lived all these thousands of years, they have lost their connection to the culture, so it becomes like, even though they have lived with it, the place is kind of dilapidated to some extent. It feels like an ancient culture that they're, or like that they've stumbled upon ruins.
Yeah.
But that there's people still living in them. And that's, the fact that they've lost the connection to the language. Even though they speak it, they can no longer read their own language. They can't read the runes. They don't know the stories of the kings of the past and the crystal and what it does. They don't know how to use their own technology, etc., etc. And it's the king has been keeping it from them because he doesn't want them to remember, because he's so traumatized by the fact that the last time there was this, big cataclysmic event for them, his wife ended up saving the rest of them at the cost of her own life.
Yeah.
And he knows, or he feels, that his daughter's destiny is to do the same, and the only way to protect her is to keep the knowledge from her. And to keep the knowledge from her, he keeps the knowledge from all of his citizens. So I found it really interesting the way they showed that disconnect between the people and their actual culture.
Yeah.
But then I didn't like that it was just like, oh, well, now this white guy who's been here for one day is gonna fix it all for you and show you how to use your own machines and stuff.
Because it's a little bit different in Stargate because their slaves, written language has been literally banned.
Yeah.
And because there is, from their point of view, no difference between these ruling alien class and literal gods.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a moment where when they're getting attacked by death gliders, that's what they're called. He's like praying because they got like loudspeakers, and it's like the other thing is like their staff weapons are like weapons of war. They're weapons of terror, not war.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are they not hitting anybody? It's because it's not about... You're literally a caveman, and there's a thing in the sky firing lightning at you.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that is God.
Yeah.
And he is punishing me for being stupid.
And also it's a little bit of like the A Bug's Life thing of like this ruling class, there's only a small amount of them, and they're actually really dependent on...
Correct.
Keeping these guys in line so they'll do all the work.
Yeah. SG-1 is just such a good show.
Okay.
Because it's just American freedom brought to you with, Richard Dean Anderson and the, so good.
Yeah.
Everywhere looks like British Columbia.
That does happen in low budget. Everything's a quarry in Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the thing with low budget sci-fi, is all your other planets are just like a place on Earth, because you got to film them somewhere.
You get some plants, you paint them a funny colour, you stick them in random places. It's clearly a different planet, guys.
Yeah. I do like in Atlantis, on the vein of the culture thing, and also in Stargate, that like when they start to embrace their history and their culture, and in Stargate it's more that like they learn about what the people before them did with this revolution where they were able to overthrow Ra, and then he escaped to this planet with a group of them that he re-enslaved, but that was how they were able to get him off Earth. They go like, oh, we can do this, these were our people and we can do the same thing. And Atlantis, it's very much the growth of their culture again, when they start to go like, oh, we can learn how to do these things that the people before us did, or that our parents were able to do because they're so stupidly old. But it's that reclamation of their agency and their culture and their written language and things that actually helps them to become a more flourishing society.
Yeah, it's very. You're right. It does feel very white savory, doesn't
it? Yeah, that's the only downside to it. And I mean, in both cases, they are taking their own agency and doing it. And like in Atlantis, it's very much being led by Kida, who is like, hey, I need you to read this for me so I can gain this knowledge and I can do this thing. Even if it is, white guy comes in and shows them what to do. And in Stargate, again, he reads the walls, but it's actually, I've forgotten her name, Showery? Is that right? Yeah. It's actually Showery who speaks to her people and is like, hey, he told me this story and we can do this.
Yeah.
So in both cases, they do take their own agency. It's not just being shown everything and told what to do by this white guy who comes in. but he is like critical in them finding out this stuff.
He's a catalyst.
Yeah, he's a catalyst. So it is and it isn't white saviory, because it's not just him coming in and wiping out the villains and that's it.
Yeah.
Like in both cases, he couldn't do it without them, without the actual people from the place contributing.
The major difference between the two plot lines is Atlantis destroyed itself because it was a father trying to weaponize the power of the city that ended up causing the mega tsunami.
Right.
And that's sort of like the whole thing where it's just like, oh, these are aliens pretending to be gods.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. And then he's all like, you guys go home. I'm going to stay here. I was unemployed and homeless before I got a... Like,
yeah, he's
Daniel
like,
has nothing to go back to.
But also in both cases, he's very much like, hey, I've dedicated my life to this thing I believed in that
I'm not going to just leave
that no
now.
one believed me about, and that we can't really tell anyone about when we go back, because that would be insane to actually go back and tell Earth, hey, actually, we found these aliens and blah blah blah, or we found Atlantis.
Yeah, you think the defense budget's bad now? You should imagine what it was if aliens were real and they were evil.
Yeah. So, like in both cases, he would be going back to never see that civilization again, and also to like lie about its existence.
Yeah.
And then never not get recognition or anything for it. Not that he wants recognition, but like in both cases the guy is like obsessed with this culture, and then it's like, what better way to do that than when you discover that it's actually because in both cases they're obsessed with this culture and this language and this theory they have about where it developed or how it developed. And in both cases, they expect that it's a culture that died a very long time ago, and then discover living remnants of that culture, and are like, why would I leave that? And also, in both cases, they fall in love.
Of course.
Yeah.
As you would. I was thinking in my head while you were talking, the story of Atlantis in real life is fascinating, and ancient culture is fascinating in general, especially when you start throwing DNA evidence into it, because then you end up with all sorts of stuff that doesn't make any sense from like what people have, what white professors in classroom have turned up and been like, you people look like you people, so therefore you must be related. This is how it happened. And like there's it's a lot of hard work, because like if you're talking about mass migration into the Americas, before and after the Ice Age ended, and what caused the Ice Age to end is up for debate, even though geologists say one thing and archaeologists say another, which is again when you end up in that weird like Egyptology says this thing but everything else, the science says the other. We've probably now been banned in Egypt. It's very fascinating when you put DNA into it, because DNA can't lie. And it's just been a very fascinating, because obviously as technology gets better, as DNA evidence and research gets better, it's even more fascinating, because it's just like, oh, how are the people in the Amazon not related to the people in North America? That doesn't seem... You don't just like cross the Bering Land Bridge, arrive in a place and be like, you know what? I'm not going to stop here, even though there's food and shelter and places to live. I'm going to keep going. For ages. I'm going to cross the... Like, how did they cross that area of the jungle where it's like they made it up in Pluribus. Like, not made it up in Pluribus, but they made mention of it in Pluribus.
Yeah, I did love watching Pluribus with you when you were like, there's no way you can get from here to here because there's this whole stretch of jungle that's impossible to cross, and then the guy gets to it and they're like, you can't do this, there's a whole stretch of jungle.
You're going to friggin' die. And that's without the cartels that run around in there growing drugs for the American market. It's fascinating. So there's a lot of talk about like sea levels being lower, seafaring peoples who, if you're a sea-based culture, where do you build your settlements? Right on the beach, What happens when the water rises? Oh, the flooding.
Yeah.
Wonder what book has flooding mentioned in it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, like, in Atlantis, the Lost Empire, Milo references Plato's writing.
Yeah.
And that is the writing that we have.
Yeah.
That mentions Atlantis. I think that's the most recent writing we have that mentions, like, specifics of Atlantis, and it ends, like, what we have of it ends mid-sentence.
Yeah.
So, and that's why, you get the reference to that in the movie where he's reading the book and he's like, it seems to be missing, I think it's like it's missing a page. It seems to just finish in the middle of this thought. Which is a reference to the information we actually have on Atlantis.
Yeah.
So it is interesting because is there a flooded civilization out there? Quite possibly. There's so much of the ocean that we haven't.
Yeah, we
discovered.
know what the surface of Mars looks like better than we know what the bottom of the ocean looks like.
Yeah, but I will say I don't think that there's living people in it, or like magic crystals, or aliens,
mermen,
or mermen,
or
I don't think any of that's down there. But
Jason Momoa again.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. But it would be fascinating to find evidence of Atlantis. And I mean, until that happens, there will always be movies and books and all sorts of speculation about people finding it.
Cool kick-ass 2000s TV shows.
I mean, I think it would be a very cool thing to explore in National Treasure 3 if they ever get around to that. The story of Atlantis. Except I don't think there's like a lost treasure associated with it. But I mean, it's appeared in so much pop culture over the years, and it makes perfect sense.
One of my favourite episodes of Futurama.
Oh yeah.
The Lost City of Atlanta.
Yeah. It's very fun.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into some trivia, or do you
have
more you want to talk about?
Go nuts.
I took down lots actually, so this is gonna be fun. I did mention that the Atlantean language was created by Mark Okrand, who created the Vulcan and Klingon languages in Star Trek.
Couple
Milo Thatch is I just thought this was a weird fact. Milo Thatch is the first male hero in a Disney animated feature to wear glasses.
That is a weird fact.
Instantly, you think about it, go like, oh, they all had perfect eyesight. I've talked about the coelacanths, which I thought was fun. According to the behind the scenes documentary, the lead actor. So I've already mentioned that the lead animator kind of drew Milo Thatch to look like the linguist that they had on set.
Right.
But he also said it was in almost 30 years as an animator, it was the closest he came to doing a self-portrait. Because he himself is a historical bookworm, and he said that like a lot of the characterization of Milo is very similar to himself. But they also he really was inspired by kind of heroic characters in Frank Capra's films. Right. So like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Mr. D Goes to Town, It's a Wonderful Life, Meet John Doe, all those kind of things where it's like a small town hero going up against, big world, big politics and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was this I just took down because we literally did this movie like 2 episodes ago, or no, longer than that at this point, 5 episodes ago, because it was our last fun episode. Which is that David Ogden Stiers, whose voice I recognized this time. I don't think I even realized he was in Atlantis before. But the second he spoke when we watched it this time, I was like, oh, wait a second. Because he does like Cogsworth and Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that. So he plays the professor at the beginning who basically fires Milo.
Yeah.
He previously was in Doc Hollywood with Michael J. Fox, who plays Milo Thatch in this movie. Yeah. And then David Ogden Stiers went on to play a character called Oberoth in a series called Stargate Atlantis. So I thought that was a fun little connection. This is also, this was as of 2020. I can't think of one that's come out since then that would have changed it, but Atlantis: The Lost Empire holds the record for being the full-length Disney animated film with the highest body count.
Yeah. A lot of people die in the movie.
A lot of deaths in this movie. Milo's vehicle in the final flight scene that he uses is based on sculptures found in archaeological excavations of Egypt.
Right.
It's which they're referencing as proof that ancient civilizations knew about air travel. Which again obviously ties into Stargate to some extent, because you've got those like what did you call them?
They're called death gliders.
Death gliders. There you go. This is also the final film to feature a character smoking in a Disney movie.
There's a lot of smoking at Stargate.
So I thought that was interesting.
Hey, I'm going to stand by this relic and light a cigarette.
Yeah.
No smoking.
He teaches the kid how to smoke.
Yeah.
I was like, don't teach a kid how to smoke.
This is the 90s. Nothing will be as bad as that book movie.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, like the Seal of Hell? What the hell was the movie called?
Which book movie?
The book movie with Johnny Depp, and he's like going and reading all those copies of the copies of
Ninth Gate.
Yeah, Ninth Gate. That's the one.
Oh my god!
And
yeah,
he's going reading like limited edition copies.
Not
of
limited, like
there's three of them.
The only book, like it's the one handwritten book or whatever, and he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna smoke over it. It's like
drops cigarette ash into the book and just like brushes it out.
What are you doing? This was one I thought was interesting. So the character of Milo Thatch, obviously in the final film, he's related to like his grandfather was like an explorer, and he gets to discover his own inner sense of exploration. Originally, his name wasn't Milo Thatch; it was Milo Teach, and he was going to be a descendant of Edward Teach,
the famous pirate, known as Blackbeard.
Yes, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Again, like I get they're playing into the like, inside him all along there was this adventurer.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. So there is the next couple of things are about sequels, right? So there is actually a sequel to Atlantis. It's called Milo's Return, I think.
Are you saying that two very popular and complete TV shows are not sequels?
No, we're talking about Atlantis right now. I'm talking about Atlantis, the Lost Empire. I'm not talking about Stargate. So Atlantis, so there is a sequel movie to Atlantis, but it's like a weird anthology movie, and it was because they had but started to make a TV series called Team Atlantis that never got finished. So they just kind of compiled the first few episodes into a movie.
Right.
But there was a planned sequel, like actual sequel movie. But because The Lost Empire was less successful than they expected, A, they cut the animated series, and B, they just did away with the sequel. But one of the co-directors, Kirk Wise, had revealed what the plan for the sequel was, which was it was going to be about a sinister new villain in World War I era clothing and a frightening gas mask coming back to attack Atlantis with a new group of evil mercenaries to try and finish what Rourke started in the first movie. And then Milo and Kida would reunite with the rest of the group from the first movie who'd come back to help them. And at the end of the movie, you would discover that the villain was actually Helga, and that she had survived the fall but had been turned into a cyborg in order to survive. It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that. I mean, that would have been an insane sequel to this movie. But, like, that would have been... Can you imagine, like, proper steampunk cyborg femme fatale comes back for revenge? What a cool movie. Stargate trivia, I took down less of it, but there's still some. I did say to you it's mostly around Jay Davidson, who played Ra. So Jay Davidson is not a professional actor. He was a fashion designer that was discovered at a party in London, which led to him being cast in The Crying Game, which he got Oscar nominated for. He hated the attention that he received after that movie, and he didn't want to really act again. When they offered him the role of Ra, he didn't want to just turn it down, so he made what he expected would be an unacceptable demand of $1 million, which they accepted and paid, and then he was like, oh, And then he basically quit acting after that. He did one TV movie and a short film, but went back to just being a fashion assistant. The wardrobe and cinematography teams had to work around his nipple rings because he refused to remove them, which I thought was funny. The costume designer, Joseph A. Porro, after the film was scored, was jokingly referred to as the evil Joseph Porro because the music turns ominous at the same time his name comes up in the opening credits. So everyone on set would refer to him as the evil Joseph Porro, which I think is very funny. And then in the opening Egypt scene and in the mine scene on the planet, most of the background extras are just mannequins and scarecrows.
Makes
because
sense.
They were cheaper than actually employing people to be there. So the scarecrows were just 2 wooden beams in a concrete-filled can draped with cloth.
Makes sense.
And that's what most of the extras are. I think there's 2 scenes where they needed to have a big groups of people actually moving, so they hired about 1,200 extras. But on one of the days of shooting, the temperatures in the desert went up to 52 degrees Celsius, and so most of them just didn't come back to work the next day.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Budget and box office. Do you know budgets and box offices of these?
I think Stargate made $150 million on a $50 million budget.
Yeah, roughly. So the budget of Stargate was $55 million and it made $196 million at box office. What do you think of Atlantis?
Don't know. It's hard to tell with animated movies because they either do ridiculous amounts and cost nothing, or they cost a lot and make just over.
Yeah, so, we've already said that they scrapped the sequel and series.
I'm assuming it cost $60 million to make and made $70.
No, it cost $120 million.
So I'm always way off.
And it made $186 million. So it did make over, but not the double the budget that it needed. So it cost more than twice what Stargate cost, but made less than Stargate.
Yeah.
It's not great. And that's why we didn't get more of it, which is sad because...
We did. It's called SG-1.
Atlantis, SG-1.
Yeah. It's Milo and Kira going to other civilizations to discover the fact they were all Atlantis all along. And shooting giant, crayfish.
Yeah.
Lobsters. Robotic lobsters.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
The dad was a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoy this episode, please share it with somebody. You have no idea how much that helps us. You're a singular beacon in the storm, a lighthouse, if you will, and the world is saturated with things. So if you enjoy our podcast, please share it. Where to send people, you can go to our website, ittakes2.co.nz, where you can get a Get Started page, which Lisa put a lot of work into. And you can also follow us on social media.
Yes.
What?
I was trying to think, I think this episode is the episode for your birthday, so I was going to say happy birthday to Nick, but
I think
it's
40.
I think it's coming out the week before your birthday, but
I'm not 40 yet.
But it is your birthday episday.
Does my birthday fall on the weekend this year? Because if it does,
no, it falls on a Tuesday.
Wonderful. I'm not going to be on. I'm going to take a 3-day weekend.
So you're going to take the Monday off and still work your birthday?
I'm going to take a 4-day weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Do you want me to take a 4-day weekend? Actually, for me, if I took off until the Tuesday, that would be a 5-day weekend.
Yeah, it's that doesn't work out for you.
I forgot my work week is not the same as yours.
Yeah, for now.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.